Do you have spiritual gifts? As I was growing up in the church, I learned about the spiritual gifts. There are a lot of them, and here are a few of them. Wisdom, knowledge, faith, healing, miraculous powers, prophecy, discerning of spirits, tongues, interpretation of tongues, and I'm sure there's more. I assume that spiritual gifts were something you were born with, like musical talent or athletic ability. And if you weren't born with one of these gifts, you were just out of luck and had to stay a mediocre Christian. I didn't sense any evidence of spiritual gifts as I was growing up, so I assumed I hadn't won the gift lottery and I would just have to watch others use their gifts. And you may be feeling the same way, that you missed out on spiritual gifts. But I was wrong. In 1 Corinthians 14 verse 1, Paul says, eagerly desire the gifts of the Spirit, especially prophecy. Well, then that means that we can all ask for spiritual gifts. They're available to everyone. Well, that's completely changed my perspective of spiritual gifts. It means we can all be operating in supernatural gifts to a much greater extent than we are now. Now that's really exciting. So I've changed the way I pray. I'm regularly asking for more gifts. Spiritual gifts will give you a supernatural lifestyle, and that's what I want. In 2 Timothy 1 verse 6, Paul says something very interesting to Timothy about spiritual gifts. Fan into flame the gift of God which is in you through the laying on of my hands. So Timothy received the gift when Paul prayed and laid his hands on him, but it needed to grow and mature so it would be useful in Timothy's ministry. That means when you are given a spiritual gift, it's in a seed form, and it needs to be encouraged so it can grow and be a blessing to you and others. So even though you may not see much evidence of spiritual gifts in your life right now, you may have many gifts, but they're just in seed form waiting to be grown. You have no idea what gifts you already have, and they're still in their infancy and need to be fanned into flame. You have incredible potential that you're still unaware of. So start asking God for more gifts and for how you can grow them. The body of Christ needs your gifts. So to live a transformed life, you need to be growing and exercising your spiritual gifts. So now I want to hear from you. How did you discover your spiritual gifts and how are you growing them? And if this is your first visit here, you need to get my free self-assessment guide. And to do that, just subscribe to my weekly email newsletter by filling out the subscription form, and you know where it is. It's always right there. And I'll talk to you again next week. But this week, ask God for gifts and grow those seeds.